If you listen to a lot of old 90s hip-hop, you'll hear them talk about knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. So here's the deal. Knowledge is just knowing, being aware that something exists.
You're listening to The Fly Guy Show. They do everything on the fly and in such a fly manner. Stay fly, stay fly, stay fly, stay fly.
So, I just want to share with you three things. I want to share with you three things. All right? Simple as 1, 2, 3. I have learned three important things about manhood that I want to share with you. All right. First deals with the concept of 1, 2, 3. If you deal with numerology, the number 1 is related to knowledge. The number 2 is related to wisdom. And the number 3 is related to understanding. If you listen to a lot of old 90s hip-hop, you'll hear them talk about knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. So here's the deal. Knowledge is just knowing, being aware that something exists. Okay? Knowledge is simply knowing something exists. Wisdom is taking that awareness and using it. And when you use it over and over and over, that awareness over and over, it becomes natural to you, so you don't have to think about it. And that becomes understanding. You already understand how to walk. You don't have to think about it. All right? You know how to punch somebody. You don't have to think about it. All right? So, knowledge, wisdom, understanding. Knowledge, wisdom, understanding. Here's the deal. Most people punk out on knowledge. So you try to share some information with them and say, I already know that. And they shut down. And these people never move to wisdom or understanding. And understanding is that point where it happens naturally. So, if you're not doing well in school, you might go to class and the teacher starts teaching something that you may have been already exposed to. You I already know that. I ain't paying attention. It never moves into wisdom. And when you take the test, you fail. It's really that simple. The reason that you're not doing well, the reason you're not succeeding on the football court, the basketball court, in your musician class, and whatever you're involved in, is you never move from knowledge to understanding. You never move to the point where it just comes natural. Second thing, if you ever watch sports, you have seasons. You have the preseason, you have the regular season, and you have the postseason, right? What do you do in preseason? You practice and prepare yourself. What do you do in season, in the regular season? You perform. What do you do in the postseason? In the postseason, you process, you reward, you recognize, but the most important thing you do in the postseason is you process. So, when you're coming to school, you actually have preseason before you get to school. What are you doing to prepare yourself so that you have a successful time when you're in the environment? While you're in school, you're actually in season. And when you get home is your postseason. Most people punk out on the pre and the postseason. Most people punk out on the pre and the postseason. So they're never successful in season because they haven't prepared for it. They're never successful in the next season because they didn't process themselves after the season was over. So you might have done really well in middle school, but you hit high school and things just not working out because you didn't do the right thing in your postseason. If middle school was your regular season, when you got home from school, you didn't do the advanced study. You didn't do the advanced preparation. Preseason, regular season, postseason. And if you punk out on any of those, you're not going to be successful. When I was in middle school, I had this guy that I was cool with. His name was Kurt.
What year was that?
Middle finger. All right. So Kurt was, Kurt was that dude who was really braggadocious. You know, he knew everything. He worked out. He was real muscular. You know, he thought he could punk everybody. And we had seats where we all sat down. And so I grabbed my food and I put my plate down and I went to grab something. When I came back, Kurt was at my seat. Now, the reason I knew this was my seat was right across from Natalie. All right? And I was trying to work my way into something with Natalie. You know what I mean? All right, so that was my seat. So, yeah. So Natalie was sitting there, and I walk up and Kurt's in my seat, and I'm like, yo, dude, you're in my seat. But of course, we didn't call each other dude then, but work with me, all right? Hey. Kurt, you're in my seat. He just kind of looks at me. It's like, Kurt, you're in my seat. If this is your seat, move my plate. I was like, that's all I gotta do is sit next to Natalie. Picked up his plate, and I was just gonna move it over one seat, right? And he sucker punches me. So we get into it, and we're tussling and fighting and da-da-da-da-da. And at the end of the thing, I realistically can't say that he beat me or I beat him. It was realistically a draw. All right? Realistically a draw. I got in some thumps, he got in some thumps. You know, realistically a draw. We got pulled apart. All right, so I get home, and my father says, all right, so you had your fight. When you get back to school the next day, everyone's going to mess with you. So, I want you to say this thing. Just say, it's over with. That's like, it's over with? But just say, it's over with. And so the whole night, he and my mom are like, what do you want to say tomorrow? It's over with. What are you going to say tomorrow? It's over with. It's over with. So I get back on the bus the next morning. Yo, you tore Kurt up. What? Man, that's over with. My best friend. All right? That's just over with. All right. Oh, that was easy. And then, as the time on the bus progressed, more and more people were like, yo, he beat your A-word, or stuff like that. And I was like, nah, it's over with. And it became easier and easier after I kept saying, it's over with. So after I would say it's over with to them once or twice, it wouldn't bother me about it anymore. Then I ran into Natalie. And she said, are you okay? And I was like, yeah, I'm good. Well, we didn't say I'm good back then. Work with it. So I said the, equivalent of I'm good, because I'm still trying to get to Natalie, right? And then she said, wow, you really beat him up, didn't you?
Yeah. So it did.
It was the hardest thing. It was the hardest thing that I did in that moment, but I had to say, nah, it's over. All right. She's like, what? I said, it's over.
Hell.
Little did I know, Natalie was one of them girls who ran her mouth. All I was checking out was her body, her face, and everything was just right. I didn't know she ran her mouth. So, when she's around her girls, I realized, I actually heard people rewind later, that she was just telling people that, he said it was no big deal. It was no big deal. It was over with. What would have happened if I told her I beat his tail? She would have told everybody I beat his tail, and then me and Kirk would have been at it again. Now, incidentally, the next day me and Kirk were cool. Yeah, we knew each other, we were acquaintances, we had our fight. It's like, yo, you got me, I got you, yeah, okay, all right, we cool. And that was it. But if I would have said to her, yeah, I beat his tail, wanting to get a little deeper in with her, I would have caused that problem to continue. So what I didn't realize until recently was that was my knowledge, wisdom, and my understanding. I knew that I didn't want it to continue, and my parents gave me the wisdom by making me repeatedly say it's over with. That when that point came, it was almost natural for me to say it's over. That was my pre-game, my preseason, my season, and my postseason. So that's how I was prepared to handle that situation. So one last thing I want to share with you is that adversity is going to come your way. Adversity is always going to come your way. And adversity comes to do three things. It comes to teach you, it comes to train you, then it comes to test you. Once you pass that test, you'll get a whole new crop of adversities, but that level of adversity will leave you alone. So whatever you're dealing with right now, realize you're being taught something. Learn the lesson in that. It might be happening to you over and over. That's because you're being trained. And you're going to have an ultimate test coming. And once you pass that test, that part of your life is over. You might have a teacher you can't stand. But once you pass her class, or his class, or their class, gotta be millennially politically correct. Once you pass that class, you don't have to deal with them no more. You might be having a very hard time in that math class or with that person, but once you learn how to deal with them, you won't have to deal with that type of person anymore. And then the next time I'm talking, that somebody like them shows up, you already knows how to deal with them, right? 1, 2, 3. Knowledge, wisdom, understanding. Pre-game, pre-season, season, post-season, and teach, training, test. You learn those 3 things. I'm not going to say life is going to be easy, but I'm going to say it's going to look easy when everyone else watches. When everyone else watches how well you handle stuff, they're like, man, he got it so easy. No, you were taught, you were trained, and you were tested during your preseason, your season, and your postseason, and you had knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. All right, thanks for your time.
Award-winning producer Raheem Shabazz continues the Elementary Genocide documentary series with The School to Prison Pipeline. That film exposes the social engineering done to African-American children in the school system. And his other film, Elementary Genocide 2, The Board of Education versus the Board of Incarceration, takes an even deeper look at the history of the American school system and how it was made to justify subjugating Black Americans. These films are on track to be the most discussed films in Black America. These films feature people like Dr. Boyce Watkins, Dr. Francis Cress Welsing, and many, many more. The documentary is available right now at elementarygenocide.com. That's elementarygenocide.com.
Stay fly, 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 stay fly.